All right, guys, welcome back to the Short Story Long podcast.
What?
You're laughing.
I am not. I'm writing down my shit Wyatt says.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome back to the Short Story Long podcast. I'm your host, Sam Derrickson, joined by my co-host, Andrew Dial.
Hey, you guys.
When I was doing my introduction, I guess, is it too loud in your monitors? Because you jerked. You scared you. So anyway, well, I was just home cooking me a little dinner to eat, and I called Dozer to complain about a certain life event that I will probably get into later. And we were talking about being hot and didn't really want to do anything. And he said, I should be in your basement recording a podcast. I was like,
that's the best thing to do in this heat.
I was like, bet. So anyway, he said, I'll be over there in an hour. So
yeah, we got the corn sweat going on right now.
Yep.
It's just something about 32,000 Olympic swimming pools worth of humidity per minute or something. I don't know.
I like how everything is related to the Olympics now.
But metric.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, since the Olympics just happened, it's like, this is the same thing as an Olympic, triathlon or whatever. Like, okay.
You seen the one where they compare Simone Biles on how high she jumps?
No.
Like the Olympic graph was 12 meters.
Okay.
And everybody modified it to it was a limit of crappie or you know what I mean? It was
anything but metric. John Flowers sent me on Facebook the other day the 2x4 in the Raptors that said 242 dicks or whatever. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. So we're gonna recap the last couple weeks of our lives, I guess. But before we do that, I guess I've got some listener emails from our most loyal listener, Tiara, my sister. She always has a good commentary on our stuff. So
the only commentary as well. So we thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Tiara. So chronologically, episode 50. SSLBC, which stands for the Short Story Long Book Club.
I was hoping I can't wait. I hope she talks about Harry Potter.
I have not read any of these.
Okay,
so,
perf.
I loved the book talk. Please share every time you guys read a book that inspired you, like Atomic Habits, or was interesting. I don't get Poison Ivy either, but I do get Poison Oak. That Alaskan hunt sounds like an absolute hell. Why would you do that on purpose and pay for the pleasure of the frostbite torture? Dozer is still a part of the CrossFit cult? Okay, now this Alaskan trip makes way more sense.
Rude.
I adore Ted Nugent. I got to meet him and hear him sing and play guitar with some of our guys when I was stationed in Afghanistan. He is such a cool guy. This is such a full service podcast. Now I know I need to go out and buy wool underwear, and thanks to Dozer, now I know the care instructions. So unfortunately, she did not mention the Harry Potter book. So
that is unfortunate. That was the one thing I was hoping she'd comment on.
Maybe after listening to this one, she'll comment back with her thoughts on that. So Tiara, please let us know your point of view on the Harry Potter book Distractions. So
Distraction.
The next one, episode 21, Springtime Shuffling. I don't even remember that episode at all. We need to go back and listen to this, I guess. LOL, you and Dozer were discussing working on cars after the podcast recording is done. You tell Dozer, we'll see. We'll talk about it after the show. And Dozer whines, so that's a no. I learned that if I make you mad first, you sell me anything cheap. I learned that if I make you mad first, you'll sell me anything cheap to just get rid of it. So I guess that was in regards to the 98 Chevy that I sold to Sherwood, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And then the last one, episode 22, KOH recap. that's crazy that there isn't an official rule book for this race, which there is, but it's kind of just like haphazard. And like one section of rules counteracts the other section of rules. Sam, I can't have nothing nice regarding your new trailer getting scratched every time you go somewhere. Pretty much the story of my life. She says, you guys crack me up on every episode. So that is the end of our listener emails. Thank you, Tiara.
And Tiara's not the only middle-aged white woman that writes in often. So one of our loyal listeners, Rebecca Bickle, I don't even know if her last name is Bickle anymore, but that's what we're going to, I guess, call her. I think she's married, but regardless. She said we talked about doing like a best of episode, and she offered to help edit it. So we need people to write in, talk to us,
comment,
Facebook, somehow let us know your favorite
parts of your favorite episodes.
Yeah, and we'll like mash them together. Like mine is where Nate Thompson talks about
the greatest philosopher of our time.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
That shit looked pretty flat to me. Like that's the one that sticks out in my head. But I'm sure we have some other ones. Like there's one when my brother's on that he just totally like tries to like compare a chiropractor to like
the front of a 59 Ford.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Oh. So
where do you want to start?
So anyway, and then also shout out to Glenn Crampy for talking to my wife about the podcast, so she knows that we're a big deal.
We are a big deal. We are a big deal.
We appreciate that.
So I guess the short story long book club. I finished another book this past week, and I'm gonna give it to Dozer. It is The Luckiest Man. Is it Luckiest Man in the World?
Luckiest Man in the World.
Luckiest Man in the World. So that is about a World War II veteran, and he's actually on TikTok. But he will basically tell war stories, and his granddaughter records it for TikTok. And his name on TikTok's like Papa Jake or Story Time with Papa Jake or something like that. Anyway, so it's essentially kind of a pseudo autobiography. The gist I get from it is he has like some coffee shop people that he hangs out with, and this writer lady kind of happened upon these gentlemen in this coffee shop just swapping war stories and just talking about life and girls and everything else. And she offered to write these stories down. So like she just recorded hours and hours and hours of him telling stories and transposed it and wrote this book with him. And I basically read it in 2 sittings. I read it on the plane ride home from Florida, and then again this last weekend, and finished the whole thing, and patted myself on the back because I had finished a 238 page fucking book. And I was promptly told that I still read at a 4th grade level because my girlfriend finished a 480 page book in the same length of time.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, we got a badass over here.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a really, really good book. But I enjoy nonfiction, and that type of thing. And history, I enjoy history a bunch. So it starts out with him growing up in like Montana or something in the Great Depression, and ends with him joining the National Guard at 15 years old, and then going to war as a 21-year-old, and landing on the beaches of Normandy and fighting his way through the end of the war. And he got sent home just before the end of the war, and his mom had like some kind of blood disease or whatever, and his sergeant or whatever called him up and was like, You don't have to come back because Hitler just killed himself or whatever. So
Nice.
yeah. So anyway, it was a really good book, and if you're interested, it's on Amazon. I think it was like $10 or something like that. But you can also check him out on TikTok, and it's I guess I'll link to it or whatever. But it's Story Time with Papa Jake, or I think you can just search. I think I just searched Papa Jake on TikTok and found him and followed him, and ever since the 75th anniversary of D-Day, he's been to Normandy 3 times. He's been back to Ireland where he was stationed 1 time, and he's lives in California now. And like he's been on stage with Zach Brown band. It's
Damn.
pretty, like you look through his TikTok, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's our SSL book club update for the week.
Well, I also plan on reading a bunch of books on the plane. That's one of my favorite things to do. But
On a plane.
a plane, and I've got a book from Chuck Adams called The Grand Slam, where you kill a trophy book record animal, like all the big animals on the North American continent: moose, elk, blacktail, sitka deer or whitetail, mule deer, everything. And he did that with a bow,
Okay.
and a bow and arrow, and he writes the story of each one. So I wanted to read that to like kind of get in like the hunting mood, the hunting vibe. And I did that on the way out there. I don't know. I don't know what I did. I'm trying to remember. It doesn't matter. I didn't read as much as I thought I would on the way out there. Then the way back, we kind of flew in the dark. So I didn't want to be like that guy with, the reading light on when everybody else is sleeping and there's no lights on.
That's kind of a dick move.
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, that segues into the trip.
Yeah.
So we got ready. We met at Ross's house. He gave everybody air tags for their bags,
Okay.
which I'd heard other people talk about put air tags in there, but I didn't buy any. Don't really buy into the iPhone, life yet.
Yeah, not yet.
So we threw air tags in all of our stuff. Everything's going good. I get to Ross's early. We get everything packed, weigh bags. All the bags are under the weight they're allowed to be. Like, things are going great. Go over to St. Louis and smooth trip over there. No crashes, to mess up, no traffic jams, stuff like that. Get there, we're super nervous about going through TSA with guns.
Sure.
And it's the weirdest feeling in the world walking into an airport with a gun, because you're not allowed to check your luggage outside with a gun. You have to go inside. So you have to bring your gun inside.
Uh-huh.
So
With all the signs that say no guns.
with all the signs that say no guns.
And dogs and cops everywhere.
It's a strange deal. So we go inside and we unload. We have the whole 8-foot bed of Ross's truck full of stuff. So we're like, there's no way we're dragging this onto a shuttle bus.
Oh, okay.
So Ross drops us off and we wheel everything inside and he goes to park. Well, we're standing inside for, 20 minutes.
For him to go park.
And
Yeah.
finally it was United. She's like, what are you guys doing? We're like, well, we're waiting for our buddy to park. She's like, are those guns? We're like, yeah. She's like, get over here. We need to check those right now. And Ross is the one who booked the trip.
Right.
So we have no boarding passes, no nothing. We're like, well, we don't, she's like, just get over here and give me your name. So we give her name and she starts checking stuff. You got to open your, it costs money every bag, to check.
Yeah.
So to save money and space, you take all the foam out of your hard gun case and you pack all your clothes around your gun.
Okay.
So they're like, well, open it up. We got to see it. So we open up. You can't even see the gun in there.
Right.
She's just like, ugh. She's like, is it unloaded? We're like, yeah. So you have to sign a piece of paper that says it's unloaded. She's like, this is what got me. They made fun of me for this. She goes, is that your ammo? And I said, yeah. She goes, is that it? That's all you're bringing? And I was just like, yeah. And she's like, well, you're allowed 11 pounds. of ammo.
Okay.
And I'm like, no, this is it. She's like, good. Whatever that means.
Oh, God. Okay.
So, they're like, oh, Dozer, like, you feeling kind of insecure? Like, the United lady doesn't think you're bringing enough ammo on this trip. So that was kind of a joke. And so they told us, so me and Ross got checked in by one lady, and Ryan got checked in by another dude all the way on the other end,
Okay.
who was the next. So Ryan walked over, and he's like, hey, we got to stay here 20 minutes in case TSA has a question about our guns.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. So this is drawing the story out, but this is what we're doing here, you know.
Yep.
So right, so we're standing there, and the lady who did me and Ross was just like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, at this point, we've been there like damn near an hour.
Okay.
And we're like, well, the dude down there said we had to wait here 20 minutes to make sure there's no question. She's like, get the hell out of here. She's like, you're making me nervous. And we're like, okay. She's like, give me your phone number. We'll call you if there's a problem. All right. So we go through security. We all, me and Ryan Ryan, dude, bro. So you go through security, and I'm trying to remember. We went through security, and Ryan, no, it was me. I got pulled aside, and they're like, we got to do a pat down.
Okay.
The first time. I'm trying to remember all this as I'm talking here. They said, we got to do a pat down. And Ross got flagged because Ross had food in his backpack, so they had to like fucking drag all this food out and look at all this food and whatever.
Yep.
Because it was all like tightly packaged, like gallon bags and stuff.
Yep.
So they didn't like that, but then they're like, we've got to like rub your leg and shit. They're like, is there anything in there we need to know about? I was like, yeah, my legs are covered in poison ivy.
Okay.
You could tell the guy was just like, damn it.
Yeah.
So he just kind of like barely like touches my leg. He's like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And so we go through, find our terminal our gate, find our gate.
Yep.
Everything's looking good. So let's eat. It was noonish at this point.
Okay.
Around there. So we go sit down like a smokehouse, eat, have a good time, have a couple airport beers, feeling pretty good. Like, well, airplane ought to be here pretty soon. So we go around, and here comes our airplane, pulls in. Cool. Like, so airplane gets there, everybody gets off.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting there, now boarding. And as soon as they go now boarding, they're like, wait, no, we're not boarding. They're like, this flight has been canceled.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know what that was about. It had something to do with the airport we were going to or something. I didn't really understand. But people were lined up to get on the plane, and they're like,
nope,
cut the show. We're done.
Okay. So
we're like, oh, shit. This sucks.
Because you had a connecting flight.
We had a connecting flight. That we were going to miss. So we go to the counter, and we're like, hey, this is the situation. They're like, okay, we can. So I guess some of these airlines play kissy face with each other.
Okay.
And they'll switch you over to other company airlines. Like, okay. So they're like, we're going to put you on an Alaskan flight. Instead of going to Denver, you're going to Seattle now.
Okay. So
we're like, okay, well, all of our shit is on this airplane. We knew this because of the air tags. Okay. All of our shit is on the airplane. And they're like, okay, yeah. The lady gets on her walkie-talkie. Get the stuff going to Fairbanks off of this plane. And, some dude back. So, okay, then that seems promising. So, they're like, you need to go to a whole nother terminal. So we had to go back out of TSA and go through another TSA at St. Louis Airport. Like,
because you were in Terminal A and you'd be in Terminal B.
Sure.
Okay.
So, like, we went through the TSA upstairs to begin with, and then there's a TSA downstairs. Yeah. We had to go through that one. Yeah. And Ryan gets flagged, and he gets the pat down. And I have I mean, they so aggressively rubbed his junk. Like, it blows my mind they don't get sued.
It's not gay if it's TSA.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he like had to brace himself. They were going at it.
Yeah.
So,
So did they? So you did the like you stand up and they do the scan.
yes.
And the little monitor, like I've kind of peeked around the curtain or whatever, and like it shows an outline of a silhouette.
Right, and it like highlights the area it thinks something's at.
Yeah, and so this has happened to me several times. I used to have not cargo shorts, but just like regular shorts that there was a zipper on one of the pockets, and every time I wore that pair of shorts through TSA, they're like, what do you got in your pocket? You got a knife in your pocket? Like, no, it's literally a zipper. And you're right. Like, they run from your knee to your groin and back several times trying to find a knife.
With the back of their hand. Like, that's fucking different.
Yeah.
Anyway, never forget what they took from us.
That's right.
It's what blows my mind is in the 90s, you could just walk in and get on a fucking airplane.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot, Osama.
Yeah, no doubt. So we get through there. We got, for the sake of this conversation, hour to kill. So we're sitting around looking at our air tags. They're still on the plane. So we go up. Our other flights coming in, we come up and we talk to this lady. We're like, hey, our bags are still on the other plane. Like, can you please get them on this plane? So she calls with her cell phone, not a company phone, her cell phone, some guy, and you can see the baggage guy outside the window pick up the phone.
Okay.
She's like, hey, and he's just like, whatever. You know what I mean?
It sucks to suck,
Yeah.
basically.
So she hangs up and she's like, oh yeah, they're loading them now. And we're like, really? We're like, because we have air tags on them. They're still on the other airplane. Then you could tell she was like,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
Exactly. So she's like, no, they're going to come get them. So we get on the airplane and, I have a window seat right next to the loading apparatus. Ryan and Ross are somewhere else.
Okay.
So they're still throwing stuff on, still hopeful, checking air tags. Like maybe they haven't updated 3 seconds ago. Like, fuck. So they roll up with like the last cart, right?
Yeah.
And they fly open the door. They only open like half the door, so you can't see all the luggage in there. I see there's a dog.
Okay.
So they're loading stuff on. Nothing. None of our stuff. Get down to the dog, close the curtain, drive off with the dog. I'm like, okay, this dog ain't supposed to be on this flight, not making it. I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm like, I text the guys. I was like, we're screwed. Shit didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there and you can hear them like, you can hear the guys outside just faintly, they're like, whoa, we got one more. And this dude comes hauling up, right? And whips in with the freaking little tow truck, the thing. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. They open the fucking door. It's a car seat for a baby.
Oh, no.
Wrapped in cellophane, and they put it on the freaking airplane.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh. Like, talk about highs of highs, lows of lows. So, to make it even more insulting, we pull out and we drive by and pass within probably 100 yards of our luggage on that other airplane.
Okay.
As we leave.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we take off. We go to Denver. We land at Denver.
I thought you were going to Seattle.
We went to Seattle, I'm sorry. Our luggage went to Denver.
Okay, of course.
So we talked to. I don't know if we did not have a moment to spare. So we land in Seattle, 40 minutes to get to our next airplane, and we sit on the tarmac because of traffic for 35 minutes, and then nobody can get off an airplane in a decent amount of time.
That is a pet peeve of mine. Like as soon as they like open the hatch, or like as soon as the plane stops moving, everybody stands up. Like, the fuck are you doing? Where are you gonna fucking go? Yeah. The fucking walkway is fucking 30 foot away from the door. Where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
Like, where are you gonna fucking go?
So, how they ought to do it is Ryan thinks they should start from the front and move in the back, which is what they do, which doesn't work. They should start from the inside and move out. So everybody on the aisle get their shit and leave. Then the whole airplane can come back together, get their shit out, and leave. All like you would empty an airplane in moments doing it like that. But instead, everybody's dicking around, getting their luggage little bit by little. It's stupid. But
So the trick is, don't fucking bring a carry-on.
well, how would that? I mean, everybody would have to not bring a carry-on.
Well, no, but like, I'm like for your own personal speed to save like 30 seconds, just don't bring a carry-on.
Well, I disagree because they lost our luggage and my carry-on was the only thing I had in my name: contacts, deodorant, cell
Which
phone
is
charger.
which is the argument for bringing a carry-on anyway. But I guess
My carry-on isn't what was fucking slowing this project down. Let's put it that way.
fair enough. Fair enough.
It was everybody else's.
Yeah,
So
3 aisles back from where they were sitting.
So we finally get, and it's like moments to spare. By the grace of God, our airplane and the one we were getting on are basically parked next to each other.
Okay,
Which doesn't happen.
never happens.
So we get off of one, we run. They're like closing, like they're like calling our name. They're like, Ross Marshall, Andrew Doyle, like you're about to miss our plane. And we're like, well, we're coming. So we get on that airplane, check,
The air tags again.
our air tags are in Denver. So somehow the plane that wasn't leaving left with our shit.
It made it there any fucking way.
So we fly in and we get into Anchorage late. I want to say we get to Anchorage because you gain 3 hours, but it was still 10 or 11 at night.
Okay,
So
you're exhausted at this point.
yes. So for the sake of this conversation, it's 10:31.
Okay,
We get down there, we go to the lost luggage thing at Fairbanks Airport. Big sign, sorry, closed at 10:30 p.m. It
Oh.
was 10:31.
my God.
Yes. So we go over to where you check, it says go talk to the people checking in baggage. So we go over, talk to this, there's one girl there,
Yep.
probably college age. You can tell she'd rather be dead than be there. So we're like, hey, trying to, kill her with kindness, like our baggage is lost. She's just like, okay.
Fill this out. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, basically. She's like, what? Let me see your boarding passes. So we show her, and she's like, I can't do nothing. You need to go talk. So this was Alaska. No, this was you. We went to United. And she's like, I can't do, because that's what started this, was United. Our shit is on United airplane. She's
Yep.
like, don't know. Can't help you. She's like, you need to go talk to Alaska. So we go talk to Alaska, who is also a college-age girl who wished she was dead and
Yep.
not at work.
Yeah.
I don't know. United's got your shit. Why are you talking to me? We're like, they told us to talk to you. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I guess. She's like, typing on our computer. Okay, I put in a request to, she's like, where are you guys headed? We said Prudhoe Bay, which is at the end of a 414-mile rock road.
Yeah.
So she puts ship bags to Prudhoe Bay. And we're like, no.
No, do not do that.
No. And she's just like, oh, well, what hotel are you staying in? We're like, we're staying in this hotel. She's like, okay. She's like, they'll have them to you in 24 to 72 hours. We're like, no, this is not working. And she's like,
Can't help you.
yep. Like, I would rather you be dead than you be talking to me right now. We're like, thanks.
Thanks for nothing.
Thanks for nothing. So we're like, okay, well, we've done all we can do at this point.
Yeah.
So we call the hotel because we booked this hotel because they have a shuttle.
Stops running at 10:30 p.m.
No, 24-hour shuttle.
Oh, okay.
So we call, they're like, yep, shuttle guy's not here today. You're going to have to take a cab.
Okay, so at what point were you like, I should just turn around and go home? Like, this is like off to a fantastic start.
I mean, we were pretty optimistic at
Okay,
this point. You know,
okay.
So, like, Ryan and Ross are both my college roommates.
Yeah.
But, like, we haven't been friends for 10 years, essentially, because just life is busy.
Yeah.
So we're just
Being friends.
dudes being friends, you know,
Okay.
cutting up, giving each other a hard time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was fine. And so the hotel's like, take a cab, and when the cab driver gets in here, tell him to come inside. I'll pay him when they get here. And
Okay.
so we're like, well, we're not taking a cab. It's not 1996. So we take an Uber. It was like the airport and the hotel were so close. The Uber was like $7.
Okay.
We're like, we're not even gonna
Not even worried about it. Yeah.
So we get in, and our Uber driver in Fairbanks, Alaska, is some Jamaican dude.
Okay. Okay.
And we're like, hey, our baggage is lost. What should we do in town while we're waiting? He goes, my guy, fuck this town.
Yeah.
There's not shit to do here, he said. So
Why the fuck are you here?
yeah, so we asked the girls, you know, that were helping us with our lost luggage, the same thing. We're like, what's there to do in town? She's like, get drunk and do drugs. That's it.
Okay.
And we're like, okay. So,
Like we got that back in Effingham.
yeah, like we later discussed, like if you drive Uber for a living, why live somewhere you hate? You could go anywhere you wanted within reason and work that job.
Well, most people do it to supplement their income.
I don't know.
But
So-
no, that's a very valid point.
So
I don't imagine there's a lot of competition in Anchorage, Alaska to be an Uber driver.
probably not. So we had. I can do a whole episode on the Uber drivers, to be completely frank.
Yeah. What's his name?
Not this guy, all of them.
Oh, just
all of
Uber
them.
drivers
Yeah,
in general. Okay.
in Fairbanks, Alaska.
Oh, how many Ubers did you take?
3.
Okay.
So we get there, we get washed up, crash. I mean, it was like 2 a.m. by the time we got in bed.
Yep.
And so my alarm was still set from being at home because this was a Wednesday morning. So my alarm goes off at 5 a.m.
Perfect.
No one's really a big fan of me at this point. And
Right.
they're up, you know. It's like your body. So we're 3 hours behind. So everybody's body's got them up. So we're running on like 3 hours of sleep.
Perfect.
So we're like, let's go to breakfast. So we get another Uber driver, and his name, I don't know what his name is. It's Robert or Roger.
Okay.
And I kept calling him the wrong thing.
Okay.
So Ross's big thing is like he always uses people's name.
Right.
So I just kind of picked it up and I was like, so Robert, I said, so Roger, how'd you get out here? It's Robert. And he goes,
Were you doing it on purpose?
no, I wasn't, which makes it even better or worse.
Brent Wallace is the fucking master of that.
Yeah.
There was this guy named, and I'll for the sake of this conversation, just pretend I remember. But there was a guy on our bus going to the SFC thing. His name was like Chris, right?
Yeah.
And Brent was like, "So Bill, can I call you Bill?" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "You look like a Bill." He's like, "No, my name's Chris." And then he did it with the bus driver too. And we're just dying laughing because he's just making up names for all these people.
So this guy is like, we're like, are you from here? No, I'm from Kentucky. Kentucky's a beautiful place to be from.
Okay.
I was like, I need to start saying that about Illinois.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was whatever. So we went to the cookie jar and had, I had a pork fritter that was so big, I didn't even finish breakfast. Like 5,000 calorie breakfast, you know,
Okay.
giant.
Okay.
And, you know, it was reasonably priced. Shout out to Jeremy Kyle because Jeremy's daughter lives in Fairbanks.
Right.
So, you know, he was kind of our local
Liaison.
on that. So we get done eating there and we call another Uber driver. And this Uber driver is like A+ rated. He's got all these like badges like local tour guide badge and like knowledge badge and stuff like this. So the dude rolls up in an Audi and he's bragging about his Audi. He's like, yeah, it's 10 years old, but it's got low miles. So, you know, it's only got 30,000 miles on it and blah, blah, blah. And so, okay. And he starts talking and He goes, you see that mountain out there? That's blah, blah, blah mountain. That mountain is 3,000 feet tall.
That's it.
And we're like, cool. And he's like, if you drive 100 miles, there's Denali. Denali is 6,000 feet tall. And he's like, let me put this into perspective for you.
Okay.
This is where it gets complicated.
Okay.
He goes, see that 3,000 foot mountain?
Yeah.
Cut 1,000 foot off the top. He's like, you got 2,000 foot left. Now stack 3 of those on top of each other, and that's how tall Denali is. And I said, what if you just take 2 of those 3,000 foot mountains and fucking stack them on top of each other? And Ryan and Ross are in the back seat of this Audi fucking dying. I mean, they're like knee slapping. And the guy's like, yeah, I guess you could do that.
Wait a minute. Now follow me here. Hear me out.
Yeah, cut 1,000 foot off the top.
And then,
I'm like, got the numbers floating around my head.
it's like that meme with all the fucking
Yeah, exactly.
equations floating around.
Or, and here's an unpopular opinion.
Double it.
Yeah, you just double the one we're looking at right now.
Double it and give it to the next person.
So then he's like, yeah, they only hike Denali 1 month of the year. So it's April. He goes, if you try to go hike Denali, you'll die today. He's like, if you guys go today, you'll die. I was like, that's terrible news. And he's like, why? I was like, we're headed to fucking Denali right now to hike this bitch. Ryan and Ross are just in the back again, just howling.
You could have gone all day and not said that.
Yeah. So anyway, so we start. So it turns out this dude, we have him drive us around a hot minute because we had to have him bring us to the hotel and then to the airport to. We had to go to the hotel to get our paperwork, and then the airport to get the rental truck because we couldn't pick it up till 9.
At what point did you find your bags? Or are you getting to that?
I'm getting there. We're not. We got no bags yet.
Okay.
We got no bags.
All right.
So we're talking to this guy. The state of Alaska gives every resident, I'm almost certain he said 40 G a year from the pipeline money.
Okay.
So he was talking about that. The state gave him 16 acres on some lake in the middle of nowhere as long as you build a cabin on it.
Okay.
So he showed us pictures. He's got a fucking cabin. This dude had been caribou hunting before. We're like, give us some tips. He's like, just ride your 4-wheeler out there and shoot one. We're like, where we're going, there's no motorized traffic. And he's like, oh, you don't want to walk on the tundra. Which is like the theme. Everybody's like, what are you doing? We're like, we're going up the haul road to hunt caribou. Good luck. You know, everybody from there is just like, you're a dead man.
Like, there's a whole bunch. Just shoot one right there.
So, this guy, we asked him, we're like, hey, we're going to do some fishing. What would you recommend? And shout out to the fucking know-it-all ignorant Uber driver. The bait he told us, Ross ended up catching a fish on. So
Okay.
there's that. And we went and got our truck. And while we were getting the truck, we go to the help desk because it is open now.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk up, and there's the sweetest, probably 40-year-old lady. Her name is Carolyn.
Did not wish she was dead.
No, she did not. Actually, we went. Actually, there was nobody at the lost luggage thing.
Okay.
So we went back to the check-in, and there was probably a 60-year-old black lady. Real short hair, and she goes, "Ooh, boys." She's like, you guys are looking good. And we're like, okay. I was like, we got some luggage lost. She's like, oh, you ain't going to need to talk to me. You need to talk to Miss Carolyn. And Carolyn comes around, and she's the 40-year-old lady. And she's like, follow me, boys. And the black lady goes, ooh, Miss Carolyn, look at them good-looking boys following you. And all the girls at the, baggage check are all cackling back and forth like a hen house.
Oh, God.
I wish I had me some good-looking boys following me like that. Ooh, and she goes, oh, Miss Maggie, now you're going to make me blush. And so that was kind of the vibe, everybody's having a good time. And
Sure.
we get over there, and we explain to Carolyn what's going on. And she's like, typing. She's like, well, your bags aren't in Denver. We're like, what? They sent them to Chicago.
Okay.
And we're like, okay. And she's like, that's not good.
I didn't assume it was.
She's like, we don't have very good luck getting baggage from Chicago. We're like, my sister in Christ, we need this shit.
Yeah.
And, which thank God, side note, my friends will never listen to this. Thank God all of our shit was lost. Because if it was just mine, they'd been like, fucking sorry about you.
Yeah.
Guess you're buying new shit because you're not fucking holding us up.
Yep.
Like, that would have been the vibe.
Yep.
So thank God all of it was lost.
Yep.
So she's like typing on her computer. She goes, damn it. We're like, what? She goes, I'm just going to have to fucking call these idiots. And we're like, yes. We're like, that's the vibe we want. She's like, I'm going to call these idiots. She grabs the phone. She's like, and, you know, they're giving her some sass.
Yeah.
She's getting aggressive. Friggin' hangs it up. She's like, I think we're good. She's like, it'll be here tonight at 8 o'clock on flight
Blah, blah, blah.
223 or 2023. I remember that. That was kind of an easy one to remember. Flight 2023. Okay. So
Checketh.
it is 9 o'clock in the morning. Our bags will be here in
12 hours.
12 hours.
Now what do we do?
So we go over to the rental place, get our truck, and they're like, yeah, it's parked in spot whatever outside. Walk out there, get in the truck. Running board is broke off of the truck.
Solid.
Half broke off. So we drive it up there. We're like, hey, running board, fucked.
Not our fault.
Yeah, we didn't do this. It was like this. They're like, oh, well, unfortunately, you don't have any other trucks for you. And we're like, we don't need another truck. We just don't want to be charged for this. They're like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. I was like, are you going to make a note? Yeah, sure, I'll make a note.
Sure.
And I was like, what is your name? And it was like some bullshit fucking name, right? Like Constantinople or some bullshit.
Okay.
Constantine or something. I don't know.
Anyway.
She had more piercings there. It looked like somebody opened up a tackle box, hit her upside the face with it.
Okay.
So she also wished she was dead instead of at the Fairbanks airport.
Yeah.
So we take off to go shopping because there's stuff you can't fly with, like camp fuel.
Yep.
It's camp fuel. So we need camp fuel. And then the stuff we forgot, like Ross forgot a belt, just other miscellaneous. So we go to Walmart. Oh, so the big thing is like there's no gas on the Dalton Highway. Everybody brings gas cans. So we go buy gas cans, and a 5-gallon gas can is like $35
Okay.
in Alaska. But the water cans are $20.
Okay.
So we buy 1 gas can, 1 water can.
Okay.
And, you know, it's got the fucking safety bullshit on it. You know,
Yeah.
And then we buy, so this truck was supposed to have 2 spare tires, only had 1. And so we bought tire patch kit, 12-volt air compressor, the whole works.
Yep.
Buy all that Walmart. We want to buy like camp fuel, can't find it. Buy some fishing lures at Walmart. Then we leave, go to Sportsman's Warehouse, buy everything else we need. Cool. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, damn it. So we're like, okay, well, we need to go buy tax. So we go to like the fishing game, talk to them a while, buy tags. They tell us, hey, all the kills have been between here and here. So this is a pivotal point in the story, actually, is they said all the kills have been reported between Lake Habreth and Slope Mountain.
Okay.
It's about 10 miles. Like, cool. Sounds good.
That's where them caribous is at.
That's where the caribou's at. So we talk to them a little bit, get some tips. They kind of like give us a rundown on all the laws. Super cool. Well, we leave there, and there is a Sandhill Crane Sanctuary next to it. So it was an old creamery, like dairy farm, that when the guy died, he left it to the state to make a Sandhill Crane Sanctuary. So it's all set up for migratory birds and stuff. So we're like, we go over there and we're walking through and it's just all like bird nerd shit.
Bird nerd.
And this old lady comes out. She's like, what are you guys doing? I said, waiting on our luggage. Said, going up the tundra caribou hunting. Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That sounds terrible. And this is what everybody says when you tell them that.
Right.
We're like, okay, whatever.
Still doing it.
And we said something along the lines of, can you make a sandhill crane noise? And she's like, Mark, Mark, Mark. And this guy comes stumbling out of the office, just this like 65-year-old nerdy looking skinny dude. Mark. Yeah, what? These guys want to hear your sandhill crane impression. She said they're going up caribou hunting and they stop and they want to hear what a sandhill crane sounds like. And he's like, they're going moose hunting. Oh, I can do a moose sound. No, damn it, you're not listening, Mark. And they just like get in this argument, right? And they're fighting back and forth, and finally they like get on the same wavelength, and he makes some fucking weird ass noise with his mouth, and Ross won't let him stop. He's like, oh. he's like, do that again. He's like, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? We're like, oh my gosh. So this guy is here. He's like, And he goes, yeah, if you're not listening close enough, it kind of sounds like Canadian geese. And Ross says, that don't sound like no Canadian goose I've ever. We're just, me and Ryan are like, damn it.
Ross is vibing.
Yeah. So we go outside and Ross is like, let's go look at the sandhill cranes. And so we go walk around and like, we've all got our binoculars, you know, we're looking at fucking birds and whatever. So Ross.
We're looking at fucking birds. You can tell you're super excited.
Yeah, I was.
But what else are you gonna do without your luggage?
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah. After that, then the fish and game people said, "Hey, there's a place in town you can go look at caribou. They have caribou in fences for the University of Fairbanks has caribou in town. You go walk through, look at them.
Bang, done. Let's go home.
Right? So we're like, okay, we'll go do that. And so we get there. It's $15 a person to walk through this caribou thing. So we stand at the fence with our binoculars and look at them all. I'm like, I kind of feel like an asshole. But Ross is like, well, I ain't paying $15. You know what I mean?
Unless I can shoot the motherfucker.
So that was short-lived. What did we do after that? I feel like we went and ate lunch. I don't know. I don't remember where we ate lunch at. But
sounds like it's about lunchtime at this point.
Yeah, it wasn't anywhere notable, I guess. Don't matter. So, yes, it was.
It was notable.
So we go downtown to this barbecue place, and there's tweakers everywhere. Like we go downtown Fairbanks, it's like strung out people like shitting on the sidewalk and stuff. Like it's
drink alcohol and do drugs, just like the lady at the airport said.
Like it was like you know, keep an eye over your shoulder type deal. So we park in this like 10-minute parking, and for some reason, unbeknownst to me, we walk like 2 miles to eat. I didn't understand that. I guess lack of anything else better to do. And we order, and now this is going to be a hot take. We order one of everything on the appetizer. We don't order a meal. We just order every single appetizer on the menu.
Okay.
And they come out with more food than can fit on our table. Now, we're sitting at a booth big enough for like 8 people, and we can't fit any more food on here.
Okay.
So this plays in the story later. But they had $1.25 chicken wings.
Okay.
$1.25 buffalo wings.
Okay.
My brother in Christ. You know, you get your buffalo wings, they're like in pieces. Mm-hmm. It was all together. It's a foot long.
What?
It was the whole chicken wing all together.
Okay.
Not separated.
Okay.
Disgusting.
Okay.
It looked like, the one movie, The Grandma Strong Hand. Like,
Yeah.
it looked like a barbecued fucking
It's
Gimmed
the
up
wing,
hand.
the drum, and the flat all in
The
one.
whole
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, that sounds disgusting.
It's this guy. It was like a foot long. So I was
But
like,
it was $1.25, so
which seems insanely reasonable.
yeah, for that much meat, for sure.
Well, it ought to be cheap. They saved all that money in processing the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So we ate nasty fried bar food. We were in there like 2 hours drinking and eating, like anything else better. Like got sick.
Sure.
Like Ryan had the shits the whole trip after that.
Right.
So, and that's like a whole nother subject. But we left there and we're like, well, we don't have anything else to do. Me and Ross are drunk. Ryan didn't drink that much because he had to drive
Right.
or didn't have to drive. We're just like, hey, Ryan, you're driving. So we went to the airport cell phone lot and got there at like 4 in the afternoon. And we just sat in the truck, tried to sleep. Because mind you, we're going on like
3 hours.
3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So we tried to sleep, but didn't really get it done that much. Get luggage. We went and got gas and filled up our water tank with gas. We're like, oh, we're going to get yelled at for this.
No one gave a shit.
We look over and there's two dudes with the like pallet tubs. Like you get
Like
like
the
bulk
300
oil.
gallon totes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got the diesel nozzle in them just pumping away.
All right, then.
So like there's some cabin or something somewhere they're running a diesel generator or whatever.
Sure.
So no one gives a shit in Alaska about fuel containers. It doesn't seem. So we get our stuff. We get in there and we go to the desk where Carolyn was, the super helpful lady, and there's this big fat lady in there. And we're like, hey, this is the situation. She's like, man, I wish you guys were dead instead of talking to me. It was basically her vibe.
That's like half the vibe of Alaska, then.
Basically, and Jeremy Kyle's like, everybody's so nice. Well, not at the airport and not the one Uber driver.
Fair enough.
Oh, first back to the Jamaican Uber driver when he dropped us off. He's like, you guys be safe in this neighborhood, okay? Well, before that, Ryan was talking about how Fairbanks is the most dangerous city in the United States per capita and murder.
Okay.
And so the Uber driver's like, you guys be safe in this part of town, okay? And we're like, is this a bad part of town? And he just like laughs and drives off.
Good luck.
Yeah. So, irregardless, back to the lady. She's like, just basically don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden, a door opens next to her, and they just wheel our shit out. And I was like, hey, that's our stuff. And she's like, shh, shh, shh. And we're like, what? And she's like, shh. And she just keeps on shushing us. And we're like, okay. Well, this dude walks up, grabs his gun, walks off. So we just kind of like look over our shoulders, walk over, grab our guns, walk off.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know why we were being shushed.
Okay.
So we get in the truck, start helling. Because, we're
Behind schedule at this point.
behind schedule that doesn't exist.
The non-existent schedule has been fucked.
So we go through town, fucking helling, blah, blah, blah. Turn onto the highway out of town. We're not on the road a mile. And it's already so rough you can barely drive. We're like, oh no.
Here we go.
So it's paved, but it's just bombed out because the semi trucks are like 100K gross weight out there.
Right.
Like they got basically axles from the front to the back.
Mm-hmm.
If you're driving this whole way in the middle of bullshit nowhere, we're loading her heavy.
Yeah.
So it's already bombed out. I'm in the back seat already. Like I don't really get motion sickness, and I'm already like, oh god. And Ross drives a Ford. Ryan drives a GMC Denali. I drive a Dodge. Our rental truck was a Dodge 2500.
Okay.
I was like, boys, you're going to experience a real truck.
Okay.
And they didn't. I don't think I'd buy a Dodge after that trip.
No.
So the back seat is a sound chamber. They're talking in the front seat. You can't hear a word.
No, you cannot.
And so then you roll down the window and it's like, blah, 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 helicopter. And Ryan's like, my truck doesn't do that. And I'm like, Okay, well, maybe screw Dodges.
Yeah, for sure.
And, they were just bitching about it the whole time. And like my truck doesn't do this. My truck, like, okay, well, damn, like maybe Dodges aren't that great, you know?
Like, well, my truck isn't $90,000, so I'm okay with it doing all of these things.
Yeah. If you were in the back seat, you were completely out of the conversation, though.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know that was like, it was like,
You've never ridden in the backseat of your own truck.
I must not have.
I've
No.
ridden in the backseat of that truck a lot. So.
Oh, you can't hear a damn thing.
No, you got to sit with your elbows on the center console and like put your head in the front seat.
I wonder what causes that.
I thought that was just how trucks were.
No, because we rode Ross's King Ranch to and from St. Louis.
Yeah.
I had a conversation in the back seat. Had a conversation the whole time.
There's a like I think it's the Chrysler Pacific. No, not that's the Honda Odyssey or the Toyota minivan or whatever has like an intercom
Yeah.
built in, so like it plays through the speakers. Like it just automatically does that.
So the main thing when you are flying with firearms is when you get to where you're going, you need to shoot your gun to make sure it's on. So where do you shoot a gun at? In Alaska, it's like all public ground along the highways, basically. Like, just do whatever you want. We kind of felt like. That was wrong. So,
Okay, all right.
so in one of the videos we watched, there's like right outside of Fairbanks, there's like a quarry that this guy shot in. It was like perfect. Well, we passed that, and there's 45 signs the size of this table that say no shooting guns. Okay, we'll keep driving. So we keep driving. It's like all construction on this road. It's like bullshit.
What the fuck are they building?
They're just fixing the road. You got a hundred ton
road construction.
You got 100,000-pound semis just beating the dog shit out of this road all day. So we're going, and for some reason they're like, we gotta shoot the gun today. Like, it has to happen. Don't know why. Maybe because if something was wrong, we could still turn around and go to Fairbanks to get parts to fix it. I don't know.
Anyway,
so we're looking on Onyx maps. Like, there's pull-offs every 20 miles for semis or whatever. They've got like bulldoze pull-offs off the road. At this point, it's still paved. So it's not even the Dalton Highway yet. It's like don't matter, Elliott Highway. So we find this, we look, this would be perfect. So we pull off, pull around, like, it's like from the heavens. It's like 100-yard gun range. There's a berm that people have obviously been shooting at. Everything. So we pull in, got our fucking box of chicken wings. We took all of our food to go for some reason from the barbecue place.
okay.
And we were so sick to our stomach from eating nasty fried barbecue that we fucking threw it out in the weeds.
Yeah.
And used the to-go box as our target.
Okay.
And which I think was premeditated by Ross. But then, like, got fucking buffalo sauce all over my hands trying to shoot my gun. Like, fucking total fucking shit show.
Yeah.
So we set up, and they're like, you shoot first. So I'm like on the tailgate, and I can't get comfortable. Boom, hit like a foot to the right. I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, that's close enough to kill a caribou. And I was like, I just think I should be shooting better than a foot to the right at 100 yards.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to shoot again. So fucking cock it, shoot again, hit just on the edge of the styrofoam to-go thing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, they're like, oh, hell, that's good enough. You're shooting off a tailgate, you know? I'm like, okay. So Ryan and Ross get their guns out. They each shoot once. Pretty close, good enough, whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to shoot again because I noticed my windage on my scope was 2 clicks off from where it was, just going by memory. So I clicked it 2 clicks, which was the way it needed to go. Shot one more time, bullseye. Hell yeah. So we pack everything up, drive up to the berm and get our trash, you know, our target and stuff, throw it in the back of the truck. And we're like, we need to tie. So the step had been dragging the road.
The one that was previously almost fallen off.
Yes. So it would not stay on because the road's rough.
Yep.
So we got just a freaking Nerf bar just bouncing down the road next to us, a side step. We need to tie it up. So Ross, being the Boy Scout that he is, he's not even a Boy Scout, but he had, 3 different sizes of paracords,
Right.
which will come into play later in this story.
Okay.
So we try to tie it up. It's like impossible. And the mosquitoes are swarming at this point. Like shooting it wasn't bad, but like we're all together trying to figure it out. And it's just tying it up. It's just ain't going to happen. So we're like, we got to rip it off. So we rip this fucking running board off. And they're like, well, fuck this thing. I was like, no, we're going to, we try to put it in the back of the truck. And the running board is longer
Then the truck is wide.
Then the truck is long in the back. So you have to like angle it. It's covered in mud. And we're like, if we have an animal in here, like this is going to be a disaster dealing with. I said, we're going to throw it in the weeds. I want to mark it on X hunting.
Yeah.
And we're going to get it on the way back. And they're like, there is 0 chance we're getting this on the way back. And I was like, we'll just, okay. So we go throw it in the weeds and I'm in the bush marking it. Oh, what the hell is that? I just hear this car coming from not the road direction, but from where we were shooting, from like the bush.
Okay.
And I'm like, this isn't going to be good.
You just had that feeling.
Just had that feeling. So this dude whips in a 1996 Ford Windstar.
Okay.
No hatch on the back. The fucking back seat is turned around backwards and bolted at the very back. There's jumper cables coming through the hood into the engine, into the driver's compartment, around the windshield. There's no doors on the van. And we're like, fuck.
What the?
So, we all have pistols on and stuff, we're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like this might get sporting. So this dude walks out and he looks to be 60 years old.
Okay.
And he's like, what the hell are you guys doing? And he's rubbing his hands the whole time, rubbing his hands. What the hell are you guys doing? And he's like, we're like, oh, we're just checking our gun. He goes, my kids, I got 10 kids. My kids are out there picking blueberries. And we're like, oh shit, like we didn't know that. We're shooting into a berm, you know what I mean? And we checked on X, we drove past it, everything didn't see anybody. Oh, you guys, I've been yelling, stop, don't shoot, stop, I've been yelling. My kids, I got a little girl at home, she's in her bed crying right now, she's rocking back and forth, and she's scared to death. And I'm like, oh, like we're leaving, you know what I mean? Like we're done, we're packed up. Gosh, my kids, they don't know how to hide behind trees. They don't know when they hear gunshots, you gotta hide behind trees. My kids, they're picking blueberries, and my 10 kids, they're out there cutting wood, and they're in bed, and mind you, it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Not thinking, because it's still daylight, and we're not used to it being daylight at 11 o'clock at night. We're like, oh shit, like this dude's kids, are sleeping. We feel bad. So, anyway, so he's like, if you guys want to shoot, come down to my house. Then he's trying to get us to come to his house. Come to my house. He's like, my house is, if you drive 3/4 mile that way and take a left and drive another 2 miles, that's my house. We're like, what the fuck? Like, we're not anywhere close to this dude's house. And so fast forward, when we went back and got the step, we drove and tried to find his house and did not even find a house back there.
Not even a house back
there. So where this guy came
He acted like you were in his backyard.
Yes.
Like, if you drive fucking 14 kilometers.
Yes, anything but metric. So we weren't anywhere close to this. This guy was just fucking freaking out. He's like, my 10 kids. We're like, how do you have 10 kids? But if everybody gets 40 grand a year from the pipeline, like, I just feel like some of those people just don't work. They just live in the bush and just survive, maybe. I don't know. So we load up and we're like, oh, fuck this shit. Take back off. So we hit the Dalton Highway, take pictures. Road turns to gravel, start driving. It's whatever, 1 a.m. We need to stop and sleep. So we pull over, empty the truck out. It's not going to rain. Throw all the shit out on the ground. Ross and Ryan sleep in the back. I sleep in the back seat. Get in bed at like 1 a.m. 5 o'clock, friggin' tailgate opens. Ryan's up. Time to go. Like, dude,
What's the rush?
we're now on like 7 hours of sleep in 2 days. He's like, my body says it's time to go. It's time to go. And it's like, okay. All right. So we pack up, start driving, drive across the Yukon River. It was early, cloudy. You couldn't, like, it was so foggy you couldn't even see anything. Then there's one last town before the tundra called Coldfoot. We stopped there, filled up with gas. They got a buffet. We had a buffet breakfast. You know, there's hunters there. You're talking to people. Pretty cool thing. You know what I mean?
Is that where you take pictures of all the stickers?
Well, there's just stickers everywhere.
Oh, okay.
But they had like a little bar there and stuff. And I bought postcards for the kids and wrote it. There's a little post office there that's open like 6 hours a week. Put the postcard in there. Mind you, I've sent 2 postcards from up there. None of them ever showed up. Not yet.
Not yet.
So
Was it still 69 cents?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So did that. We head back, and so they were about to switch over to lunch. It was about 10 o'clock, maybe. So we drive up to the tundra, get to where the fishing game said the caribou are.
Uh-huh.
And there's construction that's down to 1 lane for 20 miles.
Wow.
20 miles, 1 lane. So we pull up, and the big thing is you talk to the construction people. So we get out, and this guy, we're like, hey, what's the word on caribou? He's like, there ain't been a caribou through here in a week.
Good to know.
That's not good because this is where Fish and Game told us they were. So there were a few, like as we're sitting there talking to them, we're glassing, there's 1 or 2,
Okay.
3, 4, you know, kind of spread out. We're like, oh, there's some caribou around. So you can bow hunt close to the road.
Right.
So while we're sitting there in construction, well, this is fast forward, but anyway, we get through construction, we're going through, but you can't stop in construction because out there when there's a 1-lane road, there's a pilot car. So they escort you through construction. You have to stay with the pilot car.
Okay.
So there's a construction guy in a truck with a big orange sign on the back that says pilot car, please follow.
Fair enough.
So you got to follow him. So we're looking, like we're seeing some caribou. We go through construction and drive another hour past construction, looking for caribou, not seeing that much, just 1 or 2 here and there. Turn around, like, okay, we're going to go back. So I go back to construction, and with it being 20 miles, so we get there, and they're like, yeah, you just missed
The pilot car.
the pilot car. So all the other cars have to go 20 fucking miles. Then they get another group and bring them 20 miles back. So we sat there an hour.
Okay.
And so we're like, you know, it's getting kind of late, and we haven't eaten since breakfast because all the food we brought is freeze dried. So you got to like heat up water to put with it. And like, we don't know where the camp stove is, all this stuff. So we make a plan. We're going to pull off in construction because there was dudes like camped in construction hunting. So we get through, we stop in construction and pull in. We're like, okay, we're going to walk. So another thing, so the whole trip was a series of incorrect assumptions.
Okay.
So that is just what it was. We assumed a lot of factors we didn't know and basically was wrong every time.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought they migrated from the east to the west. No, they migrate from the west to the east.
Okay.
So we're like, so caribou migrate in pulses, they say. So one pulse had been through. We're due for another pulse. So we'll head west and
catch them
and walk to them.
Yep.
So we get out there. Mind you, we haven't touched any of our gear since we got it. So all of our luggage, all of our gear and stuff is like packed around our gun and in duffel bags, like not in our pack. So it's, you know, windy as can be. So we get out, we're packing our pack, you know, and this and that, and shit's blowing everywhere. Like Ryan lost a pair of underwear out there. It's just gone.
Just gone.
It's just gone. It just blew away. So someone's going to be walking along and find a pair of freaking skid marked underwear and be like, ooh, brother, ooh. So while we're packing, this group of caribou comes through. Comes through from the direction we're getting ready to walk. Hell yeah. This is perfect.
Yeah.
So if there's a big bull in there. Well, before we know it, there's 6 dudes running from trucks, just like freaking wild animals, and 6 dudes run after this, scare it off, run off. Everybody's super pissed. And we're like, thank God we're not bow hunting, because we had heard it's a rodeo. And like, if there's one close to the road, like there's multiple people going after it.
Really?
Yeah, we watched it happen. Like there was a big one out there. We were counting all the guys sneaking up on this thing from every direction.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a rodeo. So we get all our stuff, and this old guy comes up. And I say old, wasn't even 60, probably 55. What are you boys doing? I said, we're getting ready to hike out there and shoot at the caribou with a rifle. He goes, when you get some gray in your hair, you'll realize not to do stupid shit like that.
Okay.
He had a beer in his hand.
Yeah.
We're like, okay. And like, whatever, old man. Fucking pussy, you're soft.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like, have a beer with me before you leave. I said, no, we're not going to have a beer. There was rain coming. So we wanted to get out there. So we calculated, we were told by somebody you could go 5 miles in 2.5 hours. Wrong.
Not so much.
No, that was wrong. So the pace ended up being, so the guy told us, and this stuck with me. He said, I'm not going to tell you boys to be safe. He said, you don't get nowhere in life being safe. He said, just don't take any unnecessary risk. And I kind of like that,
Okay.
He said, definitely need to take some risks. Just don't take any unnecessary risks. So we took off. And like, have you seen that like Terry Crews thing? Like, I'm going to go do some cardio. How bad can it be? And he goes, it's immediately bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was immediately bad.
Noted.
So we're walking, and we're just getting our butt kicked. So for the listeners, it's like walking on a memory foam mattress with half inflated red PE dodgeballs mixed in.
Okay.
So you can't just walk flat. There's half inflated PE dodgeballs everywhere called tussocks. They're little plants, and they're harder than the ground, but still not hard enough to step on.
Okay.
So like if you step on it, they'll like sink, and you'll kind of like roll your ankle off of them.
Perfect.
They're about the size of, like a volleyball. Miserable walking. Miserable. And we got like trekking poles, and those are big help, keep your balance, especially when you're loaded and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're walking, and like the rain's coming, we're walking, and my calf, dude, just cramps up terribly. And I'm just like, we got to keep going. We're only like 2 miles in. You got to be 5 miles to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to 3 miles, and we're just spent. Like, we're just wasted. And the rain's coming, windier than can be. All right, we're just setting up camp right here. So we try to set up camp, which I probably sent you the picture. And the wind's we're trying to set up a teepee. The teepee's got no bottom. Supposedly that's the thing. You don't want a bottom out there. I don't know. We haven't decided if that's true or not. So you don't just pop this bitch up, because it's essentially just a tarp with a pole in the middle. And you go to stake it in, and it's just mush.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing to stake to. So then we got to go find rocks and stack rocks on top of all of our stakes. And, we got it set up just in the nick of time. Get in there, and the storm just comes to hell. And, it's just freaking tents flapping, and like we're like laying and sitting and holding on to it. Like, it was, all of us were just like, we are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
We bit off way more than we could chew.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is the stupidest thing we've ever done. And needless to say, not much sleep that night.
Okay.
So get up the next morning, and we still have 2 hours of hiking to get to where we can even load our guns.
Mm-hmm.
So we go hike that way. We see a grizzly bear, get some water. We filter water. We get find running water out there. We got like water filters to drink. Toward the end of the day, we see these caribou like 2 miles away, and they say like, don't ever chase them. Because A, you're not going to catch them, and B, if you do, you'll wish you didn't, because you got to haul these things out on your back.
Right.
So they were 2 hours the other direction of the truck.
Right.
So it'd have been like a 7, 8 hour pack. So we won't do that. We go back, eat, and like we figured up we burn like 3,500 calories a day.
Okay.
And Ryan and Raw, we all packed enough calories for like 3,000 to 4,000 calories of food a day. Like you don't even feel like eating. Like you're so
Tired and
sleep deprived, and you've been fucking hiking your ass in the ground. You don't even feel like eating.
but you have to.
Right. So we eat a little bit, but not enough. Go to bed. We had some cider, like hot apple cider. We boiled that up. That was good. It was like a mixture, but so we decide the next day. Those caribou we seen 2 miles away were on a mountain that was 3,600 feet tall. So that's where we're going.
Stack two of those on top of each other. You got Denali.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, crap. I was like, my leg's still hurting me. I'm like, I don't think I can do it, but whatever. So mind you, we have to cross the Sag River too, which is like the little wall. It's like bigger than a little Wabash.
Okay.
So, we go down there, inflate our boat. It's like a mile downhill to the river, so that was pretty low drama. I'm just popping ibuprofen because my calf is killing me. And that kind of loosens up on me and does pretty decent, really. So we hike. I think we hiked. My phone said I did almost 27,000 steps that day, and we went from like 1,800 feet to 3,600 feet, back to 1,800 feet, then back to like 2,500 back to camp. So like the whole like uphill both ways. So that was probably the hardest thing I'd done in my life to that point.
Okay.
Because the hills are like straight up and down. You like to the point where you had to like zigzag back and cross to get up them. We got up there, seen the caribou. They were another 2 miles away. And they were the day before. So Ryan's like, we need to go after them. And we're like, no. Like, I think at that point we'd be like 10 miles in. And like, dude, that'd be suicide. Like, if we killed one, it would take us the rest of the trip to get it out. We think. It's just miserable.
Yeah.
So we come back down, float back across the river, which when we went to float, Ross was the paddler. And we took me over, went back, got the gear, and then went back and got Ryan.
Okay.
I said, do you want me facing you or facing opposite of you? And he said opposite of you or opposite of me or something. But like, he wanted me to sit with my back to him. And I jumped in the boat with my facing him.
Okay.
And the top of the boat was like an inch from the top of the water.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God. And that was a big thing. They were giving me a hard time. I was like, I'm sorry. Like I misunderstood. And we barely got across, our butts were all wet because like every time I moved, water would come in the boat. Like it was pretty sketchy.
I panic.
Yeah. Water's freezing cold. But anyway, we got back across, had to deflate the boat. It was a whole day of fucking dicking around. So we decided, my guy, fuck this place. That was like our saying the whole time.
Yeah.
And we're walking out, and we're going to go somewhere else. So the next morning we wake up, eat breakfast. You want to have, some carbs and stuff in you. But like we're not waking up and getting moving till like 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Like our schedule's fucked. Like we're not going to bed till 11 at night, but we're not even starting hunting until 10 o'clock. So pack up camp, and mind you, like we're heavy because we brought everything in the kitchen sink. We don't know what we're doing. You bring everything just in case. We're way too heavy. So we make the 3-mile hike back to the truck after hiking our ass off the last 3 days. And we get a mile from the truck, and my calf is better. Like, that's the good news. But my hip flexor, like your muscle at your waist, on my left was wasted.
Okay.
Like, I was having to drag my foot. I could not lift my foot up. Like, it was that screwed.
Jesus.
So, like, I'm honestly, like, at one point in tears. Like, it hurts so bad. Like, I'm not even gonna be able to finish because the plan was to walk out that day and walk back in somewhere else all in one day. So it was just a whole day. So we're planning on doing 8 to 9 miles, and I'm 2 miles in, and my leg is useless.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this trip is over already for me. Like, I'm gonna have to sit at the truck. Like, I can't do this. So we get out. like the last mile was just a grind. So I ended up, there's big rocks the size of this table randomly.
Okay.
So Ryan and Ross are way ahead of me because they're not freaking as hurt as I am or whatever. They're tougher than I am apparently. And what I found out I was doing wrong is when you're going up those big hills like we did the day before, the thing is little steps. It's kind of like low gear almost.
Okay.
So little steps. Well, the next day I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing little steps. Well, when you do little steps, it's just that many more times you're picking up your leg, and I just like wore myself out. I found out in hindsight, big steps was better for me.
Okay.
So I catch up to them. They're like, here, have a seat. So they get off the rock. I sit down on the rock, and as soon as I sit down, like every muscle in my body, I just relaxed and fell off the rock.
Okay.
And there's water everywhere. So I'm just laying in water, friggin' legs hurting me. You know, they're trying not to laugh.
You're just looking like a pathetic lost puppy.
They're like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm okay. They're like,
are you sure?
What do you need us to do? I was like, get this pack off me, because it's like 85 pounds.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like in a car wreck. Like, you can't really find your buckles. You know, I can feel the water soaking in my jacket and stuff. I'm like, God damn it. So I finally get my pack off, roll over.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining he's sitting on a rock and then just tumbling off into a puddle.
They were trying not to laugh. They were fucking, you know, it sucked. So I'm sit there a minute. They're like, all right, Ryan kept on going. We ain't going to get there by sitting here. I'm like, motherfucker, because they had been resting already. I was like, well, I had the truck keys. I was like, see you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, how about you give us the truck keys? I was like, how about I fucking no, Scott? I was like, you need to fucking help me out of here. So I just grinded out the last mile, like basically dragging my left leg behind me. Like fucking, like it was just useless.
On a wing and a prayer.
Yeah, just trekking poles in one leg. So we get to the truck, load up, and we drive up the road a little bit, and there's two different caribou hunting trucks. So we pull in, and we're like, what's the story? And the one guy's like, I fly security for the pipeline. I flew a couple days ago. The herd is still 50 miles away. They're like, there just is no caribou. I'm like, shit. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, then we found out that they migrate from
The other direction.
Yeah. We found that out.
So they're 50 miles and they're leaving, not 50 miles and closing.
Yeah, we went the fucking wrong way.
Yeah.
And then plus they're 50 miles the other way. So we're like, okay. So I'm hurting. I'm like, they're like, let's drive up to Prudhoe Bay, get something to eat, take a break. I don't know if they did that because they wanted to, or if they knew that I was hurting that much.
Mm-hmm.
So we drove to Prudhoe Bay. This was Sunday night. Well, we had heard on podcasts. So the last time we could find a podcast someone did this was 2018. And they said Sunday night is ribeye night.
Okay.
At the buffet in Prudhoe Bay.
Okay.
So we get up there. We go to the general store, buy some Coke, some candy bars, buy merch. I send another postcard home. Still ain't fucking made it. And I said, hey, where can we get some food to eat in this town? She goes, oh, right across the parking lot. I said, you're in luck. It's ribeye night.
Hell
We're
yeah.
like, hell yeah. No, prime rib.
Yeah.
Prime rib. So we go over there and get us a prime rib dinner. It's super weird. Everywhere you go in up there in Prudhoe Bay, you got to put booties on so you don't track mud in, and you have to wear rubber gloves everywhere.
Okay.
And I think it's a dirt thing, not a disease thing.
Okay.
And we talked to some other hunters at the end of the trip. They're like, man, fuck Prudhoe Bay. That place is weird. They're like, it looks like a Call of Duty map. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like all industrial. Like the gas station up there doesn't have any signs. You just got to like know where it's at. And there's like a little shed with like gas pumps in it. You just got to know where it's at. There's no like, this is the gas pump, you know? And they were making fun of how people give directions up there. They're like, hey, like, where's the general store? They're like, do you know where the gas pump used to be? Like, go there and take a right. And then they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it was three dudes our age, and dude, we were just dying laughing. They're like, fuck that place. They're like that place is a shithole. Like, me and Ross are like super interested because there's like
Mining equipment.
there's like mining equipment and like oil drilling, and there's like custom built track machines that have like Dana Track 80s in them, you know, and stuff. Like, it was super cool.
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, if I never come back to this shithole in my life,
It'll be too soon. Yeah.
And that's how the other guys were too. Like, so
Lucas has a cousin that's up there. I told you that.
yeah, I mean, the amount of money up there is wild.
Did you ever make it to the Arctic Ocean?
No,
God.
you can't drive to the Arctic Ocean as a civilian. You have to charter a tour bus.
Lame.
It's 4 miles from the end of the road, and they don't let you go up there.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. So we go eat. I don't really know if much notable happens there. We just feed our face, head back down the Dalton Highway. And as we're driving, there's just like caribou, 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 people hunting caribou. Like, it's 200 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So we stop and we're looking. We watch all these people trying to bow shoot these other caribou. We come up with a plan. Across the road from where we hunted before, there's a 1.5 mile rock road in.
Okay.
So we're like, the first 1.5 miles
Is in the truck.
no, you have to walk it, but at least
Oh.
it won't be on the fucking tundra.
Okay.
So that's a freebie almost.
Okay.
So then Ryan found on the map there's a bowl in the mountain, like a low spot in the mountain. He's like, we're gonna camp here, we'll be out of the wind. Caribou should come through. There's like between 2 mountains, caribou will come through. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in. So we drive, sleep in the truck that night because we made the mistake of going in too late before.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up the next morning and unpack like half our bags. Like, we brought like little like 2-pound backpack chairs. Nope,
Okay.
not bringing those.
Yep.
They each had a spotter and a tripod. Ditched one of those. Ditched the food we didn't need because we had extra days. Just anything we like.
Lighten the load.
Never used my headlamp. Left my headlamp. Like, I had like 2 charging cables. Left one of those. Like, left a pair of pants. Just started leaving stuff. I left my gun
Okay.
because A, is terrible to carry because it's like 10 pounds, and B, that's about how confident I was at this point.
Okay.
Because we were getting to the point where we didn't even have time for all of us to kill them and get them out.
Right.
So I was like, I'm leaving my gun. Okay, I brought my pistol still. Ryan left his pistol in the truck.
Fair enough.
So we hiked back in, feeling good, and somehow, like, got loosened up, kind of stretched a little bit, fucking hammered some ibuprofen, feeling good. Walked in, we walked like 6 miles in, get to where we want to hunt, and as we were walking in, we turned around, and there's a dude following us. And we're like, what's this about? Man, he must be wanting to hunt here too. So we're walking in straight, and he starts flanking around us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh, he must be going to a different spot. So we're hiking, taking our time, not killing ourselves. We get up there to where we want to camp. That motherfucker walked around us, flanked us, and beat us there.
That's when you text us that there was somebody in your spot?
Yes.
Okay.
So we come over the edge, and he was setting up his tent. That dude friggin' walked around us, and he was like 6'6", 6'7", and this dude, he's from Juneau, Alaska, and you could tell he was from Alaska because he was moving through this stuff.
You should go fucking kicked his ass.
I know. So, so we go over and talk to him. We're like, how's it going? And he's like, not good now that you're here. You know what I mean? Was basically his vibe.
Right.
And he's like, this place is too big for us to be on top of each other. And thought, oh yeah, that's right. So we, that was at like the 5 mile mark. So we walk past him to where we think the caribou's coming from and walk out in front of him and set up camp. And it was a blessing in disguise. The place we had was much better than where we were planning on.
Uh-huh.
So we're like, here we are. Get camp set up. Get rocks thrown down. We're going to sit here until the caribou come through. And that's what we did. We sat there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Didn't see shit. We went for like 1 mile, like a 1 mile hike a day, you know, just to stay limbered up and look around. We did. So there was another dude. There were 2 dudes camping 2 miles the other direction. And there we seen a grizzly bear behind their camp, and they didn't know it was there. So we were looking at it through like a 60x spotting scope, and you could tell there's a little hump in the ground. They did not know that grizzly was within probably 300-400 yards of their camp.
Yeah.
And so we're like, what do we do? How do we tell them? Guess you can't. You know what I mean? So our plan was to walk out Friday, and we're not seeing nothing. And Ryan wakes up Thursday morning. Well, so Wednesday afternoon, Ryan goes, so can we change our flights to fly out early? And we're like, Ross is like, yeah, I guess, maybe. You know what I mean? Mind you, we're talking back home. We've got Garmin inReaches, they're called, which is satellite messaging. So everybody's kind of getting homesick at this point. And Ryan goes, can we fly out early? And Ross is like, I maybe, you know what I mean? I just have to look into it. So Thursday morning wakes up, he's like, we're out of here. So we originally planned on leaving Friday, and then we did the math on how to get stuff out and all that. Then we decided we were going to leave Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
If we weren't seeing anything. If we were seeing stuff, we had time to stay until Friday morning.
Right.
Give us the rest of Thursday to hunt. Well, Friday at 8 o'clock, we're breaking camp down in the morning. Not Friday, Thursday. Ryan's just like, I'm done. So,
over it.
Yeah. So essentially, he's been having gut problems this whole time, shitting his brains out.
Because of the fucking fried food from the bar.
Or whatever. Well, he runs out of shit paper.
Oh, no.
So I think that was part of it, because he's like, well, he was down to like 1 wet wipe, and he went to the bathroom. And when we leave the tent, we go left. We decided it was the bathroom, and right is where we got water. So Ryan was gone a while. And Ross and I are like, what's his problem? Well, he comes back from going to shit from the right. And Ross is like, why are you coming from the other direction? He goes, I had to go get water, or I needed water or something. So
must have been a bad day.
Something. And so at that point, he's done. So we don't even eat breakfast. We get up, pack up camp, don't even eat breakfast. I throw my breakfast on top of my pack, you know, at the top of their shit. And they're like, we'll eat at the halfway point. Okay. So we start hiking out, and Ryan is just helling out of here. Just wide open. Like me, he's like 100 yards in front of me and Ross at all times. Mind you, he doesn't even have a pistol for a bear.
Okay.
And the rifle's strapped to the back of his pack. So we're walking, we walk through this like super like brushy section. It's like a rock outcropping, bear shit everywhere, which turns out they can hide in like waist tall brush. And Ryan's just helling through all this brush, no gun, nothing. Which there's a dude got attacked by a bear while we were up there. And the bear jumped on him, he fell back, and he shot himself in the leg while he was trying to shoot the bear.
Oh my God.
Ended up killing the bear. Bear fell dead on top of him. He like rolled out from underneath of it. The bear had bit one leg. He shot himself in the other leg, so he had to be fucking airlifted out of there.
God damn it.
So,
you got your fucking Garmin SOS on standby. Yeah.
Exactly. So we didn't know that at the time. We found that out afterwards, but we are walking, and the reason we left early too is it was supposed to start raining that day, and we wanted to beat the rain. Well, we didn't beat the rain. So it's freezing cold rain, like it's sleeting. Like it's fucking some of the coldest I've ever been in my life. So my rain jacket is, you know, all packed away, get it out. By the time I get my rain jacket on, I'm soaking wet.
Yep.
And hadn't eaten a damn thing all day. So we start hiking again. And, you know, mind you, usually loaded, like our pace is like 1 mile an hour. And I was like, we get to the halfway point. They're not stopping. I almost don't even want to stop. I'm freezing cold. Let's just get this over with. We walked 6 miles in just over 3 hours.
Damn.
So there was no breaks, no nothing. But I was feeling pretty good, and you just kind of put your head down and just go. So we get back to the truck, throw everything in the truck, my guy, fuck this place, because we factored up, you need 2 to 3 days to get back to Fairbanks, get your meat taken care of, taxidermist. Well, we didn't need that. We didn't kill anything.
Right.
So we're going to try to fly out early. Well, Ross goes, I want to fish the whole way back because there's like fishing spots along the Dalton Highway. Fine, whatever. I didn't bring a fishing pole. I didn't even buy a fishing license. So I sit in the truck. I'm soaking wet. This is the day we walked out. I hadn't even eaten yet.
Yeah.
Just grumpy as hell. I'm just sitting in the truck. It's raining, wind's blowing. They're out there fishing. Like, whatever.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah. So we go over the Brooks Mountains, go back to Coldfoot to eat. It was supper time by the time we got there. So we hadn't eaten the whole day.
Right.
And get there, it's like pork chops, ribs, salad bar, just stuff our faces. Well, then those guys we talked about that said Prudhoe Bay was a Call of Duty map. They come walking up. They're hurting.
Mm-hmm.
They're hurting. We're like, oh, what happened? They're like, oh yeah, we killed 2. Like, when did you kill 2? They're like, oh, we killed them last night. So these guys were parked in the same spot we were parked in when we walked in the second time, and they left and went somewhere else and killed caribou. So up until that point, our vibe was there's just no caribou. Well, there was. They were 40 miles down the road where we watched them, and we just drove past them and went to somewhere there was no caribou, no hunters, and walked in. And Ryan said, well, we got to go back to where they came through the first time because when one group migrates through there, they all do. Where he heard that, I don't know, because I don't think that's true.
Fair enough.
So we drove past all these other caribou and went to a spot there was no caribou and walked in and tried to hunt caribou.
Did not work.
So, at the time we thought we were doing the right thing.
Right.
But looking back, so we were okay with not killing caribou until we went to Coldfoot and there was caribou in every truck.
Yeah.
For ours.
Yeah.
And in the end, we kind of learned the lesson, like, if you're not seeing them from the road, don't walk in. And that's just what we did. So then we drive the Dalton Highway back. I told you about getting the step and looking for Jim's house, that weird dude. Get back to Fairbanks. Got back to, halfway back, we stopped Thursday night and slept. Woke up Friday morning at like 5 in the morning. Got in the truck, drove to Fairbanks, got our flights changed. Now, mind you, we haven't had a shower since we flew in.
Mm.
So we got flights to fly out at midnight.
Okay.
And we're like, we got to take a shower. Ryan's like, fuck it, we'll just be stinky on the plane. But we stank.
Yeah.
Like, I lived in a teepee with these guys. Like, they stank. And like, when you pull your pants down to go to the bathroom, you're just like,
woof.
Yeah, nauseated from your own stank. It's
Yeah.
like disgusting.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would fucking suck a dick for a shower right now.
Yeah.
So we paid $400 or something ignorant for a hotel room just so we could take showers.
Was there not like a truck stop that you could get a fucking shower at?
I guess not. I don't know. And then, we needed a room to spread our stuff out and repack and get it packed. We needed a room.
Okay.
But, so then we've got this 2 jugs of gas. And Ryan's like, I'm taking a shower first. Like, okay, whatever. Ross is fighting, trying to get us new flights on the phone. And I said, filling this truck up is going to be a half-hour ordeal with that safety nozzle. And then I had to transfer it. And it took me 25 minutes. I'd get done covered in gas. It was just you got to push the button on it the whole time. It was a disaster. Should have just threw the gas in the trash.
Yeah.
So, anyway, looking back, I don't think we filled the truck up with gas. Maybe we did. I don't think we did. Whoops. I mean, we got it mostly full with the other gas, but anyway. So, we go to the hotel, or not the hotel, we get all cleaned up and stuff, and we go to the airport. The truck rental place closes at 10. We fly out at 12:40.
Okay.
So we're like, well, we'll go to the hotel the airport for lack of anything else better to do. We bring the truck back, get through TSA, everything's drama free. At Fairbanks, they're used to seeing guns.
Yep.
No trouble there, really. Oh, the funny part is Ross's shit got flagged again because he had peanut butter in a pouch. You know, like those pouches kids
Okay.
eat applesauce out of?
Yeah.
You can buy peanut butter in those pouches. It's 1,000 calories per pouch.
Okay.
So his thing is like, I can eat one of these peanut butters and I've got a third of my calories for the day.
Yeah.
Well, he came back with a bunch of peanut butter and they're all all of his food's packed by day. So every bag has a peanut butter in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they whoop, 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 all the alarms go off. Sir, you can't have 4.1 ounces of peanut butter on this airplane. So the guy running the x-ray machine pulls one peanut butter out of 6 out. And they fucking like bring out like this hazmat thing and they like put it in this fucking hazmat container. And Russ like, why don't you just throw it away? Oh no, this is hazardous material.
This peanut butter.
Yeah. Okay. So the guy running the x-ray who freaks out over the peanut butter slides Ross's shit down to the other guy who's stacking trays. He goes through it, pulls out another thing of peanut butter. Hey, this is pretty fucking cool. Where'd you get this at? And he said, Amazon. Oh man, I love that Amazon. He's like, you can get anything on Amazon. He's like, I see some cool stuff coming through here, and I always ask people where they get it from. I just love to know where they get it from. This is a pretty good idea. That's a lot of calories. Puts it back in Ross's bag with the other 5 peanut butters and gets on the fucking airplane.
I saw a thing, cracks me up. That's why funny you brought up peanut butter. It said this girl was flying through TSA and she had like a whole ass jar of peanut butter, and they're like, you can only have 3.1 ounces or 3.4 ounces, and this is whatever, like 6.5 ounces. And she's like, what do you mean? He said, you can only have 3.4 ounces of liquids or gels. And she was like, I would like for you to explain to me which category fucking peanut butter falls under, liquid or gel.
So we get there, get checked in, go have a few more airport beers. I'm going to let you guess. 2 twisted teas in a can. How much do you think it was at the airport?
$32.
It was $20. It was $18. I gave him a $2 tip. $20 bill for 2 twisted teas.
That's not bad.
It's not good.
No, it's not. No, it's not good. The hotel that I stayed at in Florida, it was $18 for a highball glass of Crown and Diet.
Woo.
Yeah.
So,
And that's where you can literally walk across the street and get a fifth of Crown, like no big deal.
So we sit down and the lady comes up. It's 11 o'clock at night. Hope you guys don't want any food. I just sent the cooks home. Okay, we went to a restaurant called Pike's Place and spent $330 on dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Like we ordered, ate, and then ordered another meal and ate again.
Oh my God.
So mind you, this is Friday night. We woke up Friday morning in a ditch along Dalton Highway.
Yeah.
So, and essentially these guys don't fucking believe in eating, I guess. We didn't eat all day. Again, I don't understand. So, like, we eat dinner, we get to the airport, and we're still full from our $300 meal. And we just have a couple drinks. She brings our drinks, and she comes back with a notepad. What can I get you to eat? And we're like, what are you talking about? You just read us the riot act that I hope we don't want to eat because you sent the cooks home. So we're like, nothing. We're drinking. So we never understood that. And then somehow people were getting food. So whatever.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. We weren't even hungry.
So it's getting to be about 45 minutes before our flight leaves. And we walk over to our gate. And this old guy is walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I say, oh, he was 70, he said. That's old to me. When I get there, maybe it won't be old. And he stops. He says, you boys been hunting? You know, we got some camo on. I had a camo jacket, but like jeans and a t-shirt, and Ross and Ryan still had some camo on. Boys been hunting? Yep. Did you get anything? I said, oh no. He said, oh yeah, So he started talking to us. He's from Alaska, lives in Phoenix, Arizona now, hates it.
Okay.
So he's from Indiana, lived in Alaska 60 years, and now lives in Arizona for his wife's health trouble, whatever that is.
Okay.
And I'm sure they need dry air or whatever, no matter. So he starts talking to us, and you get some people are bullshitting you, and you know they're bullshitting you, but he starts telling us stories about growing up in Alaska and trapping, and the dude's got pictures to
Back his
back
story
it
up.
up.
Uh-huh.
So this dude trapped wolves, like wolverines, all the stuff.
Okay.
Like he ran a trap line for 60 years, and he was telling us like how he sets wolf traps. Telling us he checks them with snow machines, and he said that some gold miner told him he had some wolves in a trap. It was 30 below zero, and he wanted to go out. And he told his buddy, he said, "Hey, do you want to go with me?" He said, "Nope." And so he said he fired up his snowmobile, and his buddy's like, "Well, hold on, I'm going." He said, "You said you didn't want to go." He said, "I don't want to go, but I'm going."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, my old snow machine, an old Sea-Doo, that thing, you pull one time, take the choke off, pull again, start every time, and we're just sitting there just like
Soaking up the
soaking it
nostalgia.
up, dude.
Yeah.
It's so cool. The dude's name is Greg, and he's like helps with all kind of stuff, and like he's like, I don't know, he was super cool to talk to. And Ryan's like, "This dude's bullshitting us," and me and Ross are like, "I don't think like the dude had pictures.
Yeah.
Like, how do you whatever?" So I guess there's a bunch of like Alaskan hunting stories written, and his dad's in a lot of them. Like the guy who wrote all these Alaskan hunting stories, like the books are in the airport.
Okay.
And he's like, "Yeah, if you buy those books, Bob in there is my dad."
Okay.
And he's like, "I know all the guys in those books." And okay, that's cool,
Did you buy one of the books?
Did not know.
Lame.
So getting ready to board, our airplane's there. All the people come off of it. Shut it down. We're just like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." So they're like, "Shut it down. We got 2-hour delay. There's something going on," where we were in Seattle. So it was like traffic. Air traffic in Seattle was too heavy. They delayed our flight 1.5 hours, which we only had 40 minutes to meet our connecting flight.
Again.
So we're like, well, time to find another flight. So we start looking at flights, and we're like, "Listen, let's just get out of this town. There's no options. There's one flight a day out of here, essentially. Let's take it, miss our flight, and figure it out when we get there. Get to a real ass airport,
Yeah.
and solve this problem."
An airport, they don't let you take 4.6 ounces of peanut butter on the plane.
Right, unless they're interested in it. So we sit around, get on the plane, fly there. Well, somehow, and maybe a listener can explain this to us, but they must have a cruising speed on these planes, and then they must be able to turn it up to Mach Jesus.
So depending on the altitude, typical cruising speed is between 300 and 350 miles an hour, but a commercial airliner can go up to 600 mile an hour, just below the speed of sound.
Okay, so they turn this motherfucker up, and somehow, by the grace of God, so we were delayed 1.5 hours. They gained 45 minutes back, and we had a 45-minute layover. Okay, so we land. So our plane was at 6:10. We land at 5:50 or whatever. Yeah, we land at like 5:50 in the morning. We're like,
perfect.
Hell, we might make our connecting flight even.
Yeah.
So our luggage ain't, but we don't even care.
Right.
So we land on the runway, and we are the back seat of this airplane.
Okay.
We are against the shitter.
Is it a full flight?
Basically, yeah.
So this is what fucking blows my mind. This is why we live in a simulation. Because like flying to Orlando and back, like I understand why the plane's full. But how many motherfucking people are flying from Fairbanks, Alaska on a fucking Sunday night at fucking midnight?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is there fucking 300 motherfuckers?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Where are you? Who are you? Why are you going the same place as me?
Exactly.
Like, it makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's 6 a.m. Saturday morning. We haven't slept since 5 a.m. Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, a little bit on the plane, but nothing substantial.
Sure.
So, just waiting. These people fucking getting off the plane. And like, dude, I must
In
have
zero hurry.
must have a goddamn fucking vein popping out of my head. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Waiting. Jesus, these people, these Chinese people can't fucking get their luggage out. It's like, move your fucking asses.
Yeah.
So we finally get off the plane and we run over and we're in Terminal N. We run over, find our flight, because mind you, last time we fucking just went right next door.
Yeah.
Find our flight, Terminal D.
That's a ways away, Monels.
Terminal D. We have 5 minutes. It takes, at the Seattle airport, it takes 3 trains to get to Terminal D.
Okay.
We didn't make it.
Okay.
So we go all the way to Terminal D, because that's where we're supposed to go.
Yep.
Just seemed right. Go to Terminal D. So we get off an Alaskan flight, and we're supposed to get on American Airlines.
Yep.
They got us all, Alaska got us all fucked up. So we get off, go to Terminal D, talk to American. That's who we're supposed to get on with. Hey, missed our flight. I wish you were dead instead of talking to me. Said, tell you what, this sounds like an Alaskan Airlines problem, which is what they all say.
Yeah. Pass the buck.
Alaska is great, honestly. The only people who cared the whole time were Alaskan Airline employees.
Okay.
You need to go talk to Alaska. This is an Alaskan Airline problem. Like, okay, here we go again. So where do we do that? Terminal C. So we're in D now. Or whatever. We had to get, so like, okay, so we walk back, we find another Alaskan person. We're like, hey, can you help us? They're like, yep, you gotta go to Terminal C. So we get back on the train, take another train back to Terminal C. And we go talk to them, dude. It was a fight. So we were supposed to fly Seattle to Chicago, Chicago to St. Louis.
Yeah.
So now we're flying Seattle to Dallas,
Okay.
then Dallas to
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Okay.
I'm sorry. All the trains were in Dallas. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've never been to Seattle, but there's motherfucking trains in Dallas.
Dallas was
Yeah.
the train.
That's a big motherfucking airport.
Seattle, I can't remember. It was a lot of walking, actually.
Okay.
So we get it figured out. We're going to Dallas, fly to Dallas. And it's close in Dallas too. Like 40-minute layover. We're like, we're fucked again. Well, we get there, and by the grace of God,
In the same terminal?
nope.
Oh.
Nope. That's where we went from N to D to C, and it was a disaster there too. Yeah. But our connecting flight
Was delayed. Hell yeah.
And we're like, my guy.
Yeah.
And like, we would have missed it if it was on time, and by the grace of God, it was delayed. So the saga does not fucking end.
Why would it?
Why would it? So get on the plane in Dallas. Luggage.
Air tags.
Luggage is,
Yeah.
the air tags, they're not going to make it. We took 3 trains to switch planes in Dallas. Like, ain't gonna make her. So we're like, well, my guy, fuck this luggage. So we get on the plane. It's it's like hour and 20 minutes from Dallas to St. Louis. Like, it's
That's
nothing.
a piece of cake. Which
So-
there's a time zone, but anyway.
Anyway, so we get into St. Louis, land, go over, wait for our luggage, doesn't show up.
Of course not.
So we thought it might have made it, but whatever. So we go talk to this fucking dorky looking dude. And he's like, we're sitting there around the carousel, no luggage coming out. Cool. So he comes over, what can I help? What are you looking for? I said, we guess we lost our luggage. We check air tags that hadn't been updated for like 2 hours or whatever. And he's like, give me your paperwork. So we like give him our boarding slips and stuff. He goes in the back room. He's gone for like 15 minutes, comes back out. And Ryan's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. His gut's still bad. So Ryan's gone. And he's like, how many bags do you have? I said 7. He's like, 7 bags. I was like, well, there's other guys. Ross went to get the truck. We don't even have baggage yet. Like, we're out of here. So he comes back. When Ryan comes back, he gets Ryan's paperwork. We don't have Ross's because Ross is with his truck. And he goes back in, comes back out. He's like, your bags weren't on this flight. We're like,
Obviously.
fine. So he's like, actually, they were on the next flight, and they'll be here. They're landing right now. They're landing at 6:16. It was 6:15. So that goes back to your simulation. There was 2 planes from American Airlines left Dallas and went to St. Louis 15 minutes apart.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, I don't understand.
And then and it would be one thing if like they only flew on Saturday, but there's another one on Sunday. There's another 2 on Monday. There's another one on Tuesday.
15 minutes apart?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
So he's like,
But burning 30,000 pounds of jet fuel each motherfucking time, but yet your fucking Camaro outside is the
is
fucking problem.
Yeah, spare me. So,
And that shit's like direct injected into the atmosphere too.
yeah. Which is funny, like we got off this like super nice plane and got on this fucking old rickety motherfucker. And like the overhead cabin, the overhead storage was like, 7/8 or 3/4 the size of the plane we got off of. And
Yeah.
I carried on my frame pack.
Okay.
And I'm like jamming that son of a bitch in there. And all the nets on the back of the seat, like where you put your personal shit, were all stretched out. And Ross was like, I hope this fucking piece of shit makes it. You know what I mean?
Those are the best planes, though. Me and Cody flew into some shit ass airport in Utah that one time.
Yeah.
And when we were meeting with the fucking dealer ride or whatever, the fucking bathroom had an ashtray in it.
Oh,
like holy fuck, this is a fucking antique.
Ross leans over. He's like, "This motherfucker's been around the block. Fucking everything's all stretched out and shit." So, anyway, so he's like, you can either. He points to a sign. You can scan the QR code on this sign and file your lost fucking luggage thing, or you can wait fucking 10 minutes and it'll be here. And we're like, "Look at me, brother. 10 minutes." He's like, "Yeah, it's landing right now." He gives us the flight number. We look it up. Landing. Like, why there's 2 different flights 10 minutes apart from the same cities, whatever.
Now, St. Louis, the flight may be landing in 10 minutes, but it takes 45 for those slow ass assholes to get the luggage off the plane onto the carousel.
Yeah.
Orlando, our bags were circling the motherfucker by the time we got to the carousel.
Yeah,
like we got off the plane, went straight to the carousel, like boom, there's the bag out the door.
Yeah. Well, no, St. Louis, we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And so Ross is out waiting. Beep, beep. The whole time, like, he waits until they tell him to leave.
And then circles back around.
And barks back. And I about went out there and gave the security guy $50 and was like, "You don't see this fucking truck for the next hour."
Yeah.
And anyway, so the stuff finally comes out, and at Anchorage, we actually did have to show our ID to get our gun to make sure it matches the name on it.
Uh-huh.
Well, this hippity-dippity fucking Gomer, he walks over, so your guns come out the oversized baggage area.
Uh-huh.
So he comes over, fucking scans his ID, fucking turns the switch on, all the fucking lights start going, you know what I mean? And he hits the button and the conveyor starts coming. And just as one of our gun cases comes out, somebody comes up and talks to him. He lets his hand off the button, all the shit dies. And we're like, motherfucker. Like, for the love of God, please. So he, the guy walks away, he scans his badge, types in his code, turns the key on, all the lights start going again. He fucking hits the button, and here comes our guns out. And we're like, can we have these? Can we not? He fucking, both guns come out, because we have our duffel bags and stuff. It came out on the carousel.
Yeah.
Our 3 guns come out, and we're like, can we have these? Can we not? Because, see, we didn't have Ross's ID or nothing. Like, we thought we were going to bring his stuff out. Ross was going to have to come and get his gun. The guy just turns the key off, turns around, walks away. Just 3 guns sitting there.
Copy.
And so we just pick them up and just run like hell and go home, and that's the rest of the story, I guess.
Was that at door 14 though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 2 carousels and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, like 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
We're like, if we weren't here, would they have just fucking shot these out the oversized baggage and just fucking let them sit there?
Probably.
Dude, you have to not give a shit to work at an airport.
For sure. So this is what fucking pisses me off. And Amanda like smacks me in the face every time we go to the airport because I'm totally all about security. Totally for it. You want me to comply with your TSA? I'm all for it. But how about, and follow me here, how about we follow the same protocol universally? Maybe not. Can't fucking decide. So when you go to the fucking airport, sometimes they make you take a picture. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they make you take your shoes off.
Sometimes
they don't. And the one that fucking pisses me off more than anything is the goddamn laptop. Laptop's in or out. And no one will fucking answer your question until you're putting your backpack on the conveyor. All electronics bigger than your phone on the table now. Like, whoa. I would have been nice to know literally a minute ago. Would have been fine. Or you just assume that your oversized electronics need
back in.
Yes.
That we had that happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, fuck you.
Yeah.
Number one, like, motherfucker, I'm about to fucking go apeshit on your ass. Like, the shoes thing doesn't bother me, and I think I've got it figured out. When there's dogs, you leave your shoes on. When there's no dogs, you take your shoes off. I don't understand why, but dogs, shoes on, walk through the metal detector. No dogs, shoes off, go through the body scanner. And I don't know. And what's weird is like, you would like, we got there whatever early one time, nobody fucking in line. Like 5 minutes and you're at the facial recognition, show your ID thing. And it's like, all right, go through the metal detector, keep all your shit on, have a nice flight. But when they're fucking lined up out the door, it is fucking everybody take your fucking down to your fucking underwear.
Yeah.
And then we'll fucking pat every other person down. Like, bro, like we got places to fucking be.
Exactly.
God, it fucking pisses me off.
Yeah. So Ryan's like raging the whole time that he's just like, I've got to buy a private jet. Like, like I can't operate my life without a private jet at this point.
Super boss man energy.
And I was like, so you realize we bought the cheapest tickets, get on the airplane the very last. I was like, we could get like fucking first class and be in the front of the airplane and get out 20 minutes earlier. I was like, there is a step between the tickets we have and a private jet.
Yeah. So I would like, okay, if you're still listening at this point, 2 hours into this motherfucker, if you have the TSA pre-check or the clear, which first question one, is there a difference between TSA pre-check and the clear pre-check thing? Because they try to sell you clear at the St. Louis airport, but like you go to another airport that's like maybe more legitimate, it's the TSA pre-check. So I would like to know some feedback. If you have that, is it worth it? How many times a year do you fly? So if you could give me that feedback, that would be fucking great.
Nobody gives us feedback.
And I've also never in my life flown first class, which I don't think is a thing on Southwest, but it is on like Delta, American, and everything else. But once in my life, I would like to pretend I'm important and fly first class. So
I had a good what did you learn, and I just forgot it.
Forgot to write it down.
There it is.
Well, I can do my what did you learn.
Well, I've got some. I just had one just right now, and it's just gone.
Okay. Well, you go. What did you learn on this podcast, Dozer?
What did I learn on this podcast? The first one is my asshole friends don't seem to ever like to eat.
Okay. I do though. So if you ever plan a trip with me, it's centered around eating.
If it's TSA, it's not gay.
Yep.
If you work at an airport, you hate your life.
Yep.
And Sam reads at a 4th grade level. Oh, and Dodges suck.
Dodgers do suck. All right. St. Louis TSA hates people standing around. You get them all flustered.
Yes.
Dozer, Ross, and Ryan are the best looking dudes in the Fairbanks airport.
Yeah. My guy.
Sandhill Crane Sanctuary is basically a sitcom. The EPA approved containers for fuel be damned if you're in Fairbanks. Alaska is not actually all public ground. Can't do whatever you want. When you get gray hair, you'll stop doing stupid shit. And you can't hunt caribou where there are no caribou.
That's a pretty good summary. That's a pretty good summary.
Oh, shoot.
So enough about me. Actually, we screwed up doing What Did You Learn too early.
Okay.
Because we have not discussed, how deep are we into this? Doesn't matter. This is our shit.
Okay.
What time is it? Oh, Jesus. We have not discussed the Effingham's newest transmission rebuilder.
Oh, let's revisit that on a future episode.
Okay.
Because this is like another hour's worth of like what's new type shit.
We need to remember this. Write this down. I'll write this down. So Sam is now rebuilding transmission.
Turns out, with the help of a experienced transmission rebuilder, which I'm not going to throw him under the bus because it's, again, he doesn't listen, nor does anybody else. But he was active in helping me reassemble this transmission, and he admitted halfway through, which he kind of hinted at it before. He's like, I've never actually rebuilt one of these, but the 727 is exactly the same as the 48 RFE with just no overdrive extension housing.
Right.
So we're talking about like setting the bands, like how do you set the bands? And he's like, well, do you want to know how Jesse does it, or how the book says to do it, or how I do it? And I'm like, I don't really care. And he's like, tightens it, like wiggles it, tightens it, puts air in the fucking air hole.
Yeah.
She's like, that's about right. Just you see that gap right there? 3/8 drill bit. That's exactly what you want. And I was like, well, it's actually just a slight bit tighter than how Dean had it set, and I'm pretty sure Dean sets it by feel too. And Jesse's like, well, that's not how I do it. And I'm like, well, how do you do it? Jesse's like, oh, I get 76 inch pounds and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, YouTube basically says a combination of everything you guys had just said. And I said the good news is these antique transmissions are externally adjustable, so if it ends up grabbing a little hard, I can just back her off about a half a turn and be good. And they're like, hell yeah, we like the way you think. and then so like we're torquing down like the pump bolts or whatever, and he runs in the valve body bolts with his impact and just gives it like the and he's like, that's what he was like, that's 26 foot-pounds plus or minus 3 or 4, and like got his torque wrench out. It's like fucking perfect. I was like,
done.
Fucking sold.
Talk me into it.
So anyway, yeah, let's revisit that. But for all you guys that are still sticking around.
Oh, one more. We got to keep up the shit Wyatt says.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
So real quick, we went to Mexican the other night, and he always gets the same thing. So I happened to look through the kids menu, and they have pepperoni pizza. He fucking loves pepperoni pizza. I was like, hey, Wyatt, they got pepperoni pizza here. And he's like, that is what I'm eating. And so the whole time they're bringing chips and salsa, he's like, gracias, gracias, gracias. You know, like the dude who thinks he speaks Spanish, but he only says gracias.
Yeah.
And he's like, gracias. And the waiter's like, de nada. And so he goes, we get ready to order, and Laren says, "Wyatt, what are you getting?" He said, "I'm getting a pepperoni pizza." And Laren says, "You're getting pizza at the Mexican restaurant?" Wyatt stands up on the booth. On the booth, he goes, "Gracias," and he kisses his hand and does like the French thing.
This ain't Olive Garden, bro.
Yeah. And Laren just looks at me and she just fucking shakes her head. Like,
pick your battles.
Like, gracias. He does like the French, you know, they hold their hand together. So,
shit.
the waiter brings the bill and gives it to Wyatt, and he looks at Wyatt and he goes, "You pay? Gracias, gracias, you pay? Gracias." And